Hello, everyone. My name is David Lewis. I'm a practicing Sethian Gnostic. I'm also now officially a priest within the Gnostic Union. And today we're going to be discussing a short sermon, Gnostic sermon that I wrote called Why Did Jesus Laugh? Now, I know the concept of a laughing Jesus might seem strange to some, since in the canonical Gospels, that is, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, that we have, Jesus rarely, if ever, laughs, and more attention is paid to his suffering as a suffering savior figure. He's a lot more stoic. But in the Gnostic canon, there are several instances where Jesus laughs at his disciples and the world around him. And I like to call this divine laughter. One instance we see is in the Gospel of Judas. Now, the Gospel of Judas is actually personally one of my favorite Sethian Gnostic texts, but I'm actually going to be reading the translation from Marvin Meyer in the Non-Commodity Scriptures. We read in the Gospel of Judas, now one day he was with his disciples in Judea, and he happened upon them as they were assembled together, seated and practicing their piety. When he drew near to his disciples, as they were assembled together, seated and giving thanks over the bread, he laughed. The disciples said to him, Master, why are you laughing at our prayer of thanksgiving? What is it that we have done? This is what is proper. He answered and said to them, I'm not laughing at you. You aren't doing this out of your own will, because in this way your God will be praised. Now, what is interesting, and also too, what is important about this that we have to understand is that Jesus isn't mocking his disciples. He isn't laughing to mock his disciples. The only time the figure of Jesus laughs in a mocking way is when he's mocking the cosmic powers known as the archons, the creator of the world, Yaldabaoth, or the demiurge, and even the people that have a hand in his crucifixion. He's laughing because his disciples are doing something that they've been trained to do all their lives. And although they seem sincere in their piety towards their God, Jesus points out they're not doing it by their own will. This got to me to review my own life in terms of my own spiritual practice. And even when I was a young boy being raised as an evangelical Christian, how many of our actions, how many of my actions, whether sincere or not, are coming from our own will? And even our spiritual actions today, for a lot of us that have become conscious and we think that we know better, how many external influences play a hand in what we do and why we do what we do? The disciples were taken back at Jesus laughing because, see, in their mind, they weren't doing anything wrong. They were doing what they were supposed to do. They were doing what they were raised to do. What actions and lives are we living today simply because that's what you're supposed to do? That's what you've been told to do. And are those actions we are engaging in bringing us closer towards liberation or gnosis? Or are they helping to continue to feed an illusionary system that further entraps us? So, like a hamster on a wheel, we think we're going somewhere, but in reality, we aren't. We think that we are feeding our souls in our identity, but in reality, something else is being fed. I also want to point out real quick too that the word illusion is thrown around a lot in especially in Gnostic circles and other spiritual circles. And illusion does not mean that something is necessarily fake. It means that what we are seeing and engaging with isn't what we think it is. Our physical senses are affecting our perception of that thing. So we're only seeing one face. We aren't seeing the total reality of it. Another instance where Jesus engages in this divine laughter is in the second great discourse of Seth. And again, this is another one of my favorite Sethian Gnostic texts. And in this, Jesus is laughing, or the Christ or the Logos is laughing to mock, in this instance, the cosmic powers that rule the world and the powers of the earth that have a hand in crucifying him. Now, in the Sethian tradition, the cosmology is a little bit different than traditional Christianity that we have today. The Christ, the Logos, is oftentimes seen as something separate than the human Jesus. Although they can be intertwined, there is the more of the cosmic aspect of the Christ is paid more attention to. And Christ is laughing at this because even while they're crucifying the human body, they're crucifying the flesh, they're crucifying the illusion. They think that they're doing something great. They're thinking they're getting rid of something and silencing their enemy. But the Logos makes it known that I'm laughing at their stupidity and I'm laughing at their ignorance because they don't know what they're doing. And it also too got me to understand something in my own life too. Now I understand that we are facing a lot of things in our world that are no laughing matter at all and need to be taken very serious. But if we come from it in a way that Yeshua takes it, when he's laughing from a higher perspective, we will realize that how much of us, sometimes I laugh and think to myself, like, what are we doing as a human race? What are what are we doing? You have to laugh at it. I mean, I know at least I end up laughing at it because we are engaging in something and believing in something that isn't real, something of our own making, and we treat it like it is a cosmic truth. We treat it like it is a fact of the universe, and it isn't. And I think it's very interesting too because we see this especially in the Bible and at least in the teachings of Jesus and definitely in the Gnostic text where this heaven and this earth will pass away. Now, it may take a long time for this earth, heaven and this earth to pass away, but nonetheless, it's going to pass away. So let us go in our lives today, no matter what you're going through, how dark it may seem. First of all, you're going to get through it. I'm saying there right now. But come to it with a form of divine laughter, because how many of us have went through things? How many of us have seen things and we look back on it and we laugh at it and we realize I was angry over that the entire time. I was, ready to just end it all and give it all up over that small thing. Like I said, this is a higher form of laughter. This isn't, oh, let me just laugh and let me, forget my problems and let me not deal with it. No, that's not what I'm trying to convey. And I'm not trying to say that. But what I am saying is if we can come towards certain situations and problems in our lives with with a sense of humor to a certain extent, it would better help us realize that yes, this too will pass away. This isn't the end all be all, and that there is a greater reality. And from a Gnostic standpoint, it's Yeshua being a teacher with, a great teacher. I believe that that's really what he was trying to get his disciples to understand. And to understand too that the things that we engage in our society, although we've been trained to do it all day long, and we think that it's just the right way and the correct way to do it, you laugh at it and you realize this is a lie. This is a joke. This isn't how to worship God, or this isn't the only way to engage with the divine, but this is what I've been told to do all my life. So let me know what you guys are thinking, and you all have a blessed day.